Does anyone have a question? No, I just have an announcement to make. Next weekend is not this weekend, but next. There's going to be a retreat here, and there'll be no class on Sunday. So I just want to tell you all, you don't get an invitation next Sunday. This is a retreat going on. Does anyone have a question? Ask the question. Inspire me to talk about something.
I have two questions. So that would be Sunday the 13th that we have no class. And my question is, those in the world who we see as evil.
You have to speak up, Christine.
Those in the world that we see or experience as evil.
I can't understand you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
A little better.
Those in the world that we think are evil. No? My volume's up as much as I can.
Oh, go ahead, talk.
Those in the world that we think are evil or we experience as bad, how can we love them in spite of their badness?
Christine, there's always going to be evil in the world. There are always going to be people that are vehicles for that type of energy in the world. And the only answer I have to a question like that is they know not what they do. One has to forgive them. And you have to forgive them, not for them, because in order for them to change, they're going to have to go through a major inner awakening that would transform all of that garbage into love, into compassion for human beings. You have to forgive them because you can't spend your life being strung out by these people, because they're always going to be here. And there's nothing you or I can do about it. It's just the very nature of the way energy manifests on the earth. And people have thousands of lifetimes in order to work out all of that crap. And if you can learn to love people that you don't like, it really means a tremendous amount of inner growth. You don't have to hang out with them. You don't have to even listen to them. But something in your heart has this, I forgive. I forgive them. I forgive them because I need to move on. I need to grow as a human being. And for no other reason. And this is not easy to do because, my God, look at the kind of people that live in it. These people that are fighting this stupid war in the Ukraine, it's just absolutely insane. And the only way that war will really stop is if they just forgive each other. Okay, we blew it. We made a mistake. We killed thousands of people. Life has to go on. Okay, whatever I'm angry about with you, I forgive you. I let go of it. I will, instead of keep bombing you and killing people, it stops. The madness stops once people learn how to forgive. Now, it doesn't mean that one has to hang out with Vladimir Putin. I don't think I would like to spend my day that way, but it does mean whatever these people do, the Donald Trumps, the Putins, all these lunatics, whatever they do, you're not trapped by it. And I think if not only we do that, but other people do that, maybe these people like Trump will stop doing the nonsense that they do and all, you know? I mean, look, I've known about Trump years before he became president, you know? I mean, I was a New Yorker, you know? He was a New Yorker. I mean, the guy was impossible then. Yet people in this country voted him to be president. I mean, it's just staggering, but it's true. So it's not only him, it's the people. They had a choice. You want 4 years of this, or do you want 4 years of, quasi crazy, okay? Instead of total crazy. So I wouldn't hang on to this stuff. Because look, I've said it 1,000 times. I can't remember a day in my life when there hasn't been a war somewhere on the planet Earth. Where there haven't been these crazy people with their huge egos, that will do anything to obtain power and control of other human beings. And I mean, it's just borderline insanity. And it took a long time for me to finally just let it go. Let it go. What am I going to do? It's God's world. This is the world that's been created. And as I say, many times, especially lately, I've been talking about, look, spiritual energy is neither positive or negative. It's just energy. It's pure. It's energy of a transcendental nature. This energy comes down, it enters people, and then it is expressed in the world, dependent upon the person. How conflicted they are in themselves, how neurotic they are, how crazy they are. Then it just reflects itself. Somebody with an open heart, it comes out like love, compassion. Our job, you understand, is to fix ourselves so that when that energy comes into us, it becomes an expression of love instead of an expression of judgment, and not even judging all the crazies in the world, We don't judge, we just forgive. It's got to start somewhere. And certainly it should start with people doing inner work, transforming their inner life into something of a higher level of humanity. And, that energy, the energy will manifest as compassion, as love, as. Now, the problem with all of this is it's much easier to see the negativity in the world than to change oneself. Much easier to look out at this world and see all the negativity and sit in judgment of it. We are better than it. But once you start judging other things, you're not better than it. You're creating boundaries. You're creating differentiations amongst human beings. And, so it's a matter of just using the mind, using the breath to transform all of that inner weakness, that judgment, that being a victim, that anger, that revenge, into compassion, to love. And I don't think it's possible to hang out with these people, but somebody has to start just loving them. They know, forgive them. They know not what they do. They're not conscious people, these people. They don't know what they're doing. They just follow their ego, their power, you know?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. And I think the first person we have to fix is ourselves. Instead of looking out and judging other people because they don't do things we like. Years ago, before Trump became president, I think George Bush was president or something like that. I wrote a short story called In Front of Trump Tower, and it's a story of a young guy who's there. He's about 22 years old, and there's a guy, there are beggars sitting there in front of Trump Tower asking for money. There's a mimic mime doing a performance there. And this one little, African American kid is standing next to him. And he says to this guy, Augustine, he says, did people beg when you were younger? And Augustine says, I think people have always been begging. And the young kid says to him, why? He said, well, they have no money to fix the situation. They have no this. So this kid looks at him and says, they have money to spend $12 billion a month in Iraq. A cup of coffee costs $1 in my neighborhood. It's that simple. You can spend $12 billion a month in Iraq, and hey, a cup of coffee costs $1. People living on the streets, all they want is a cup of coffee and a meal. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart,
Yes.
can you talk about when you slow your
Hang on, maybe
during the meditation?
hang on a second.
Can you,
Yeah, it's me. All right, talk now, you'll be clear. Go ahead. Larry, go ahead.
okay. When you slow your breath during the meditation, yeah, I don't know, there could be a problem. When you slow your breath during the meditation and can move beyond time and then come back after the meditation, can you talk about the impact of moving beyond time?
Well, the first thing it allows you to do is you begin to see what's real in life, what's an illusion. And that's the key to truly attaining a transcendental level of consciousness. But we need to experience that, the reality, the source of creative energy, God, whatever you want to call it. We have to experience that. We have to open to that. We have to be a vehicle for that. And then, as one lives in their everyday practical life, you begin to make different choices because you know it's real. You know what will get you closer and closer to your enlightenment, and what's just going to take you to the grave. So when you open on that level, and you really connect with that energy that is, infinite, that's a fountainhead of all creativity and creation, it instantly tells you what's real. And then all of the greed, the money, the power, Caesar requires this. And this life requires that we make money. But how does that compare with the energy that's infinite in the universe? We can do it without being attached to it. We can do it without being crazy about all the people we have to interact with in this whole money game, But we need the experience of what exists outside of time and space. Inside of time and space, it's, we all know what goes on inside of time and space. When you have the experience of outside, then you have the strength and the capacity not to be attached to all this stuff. You do it without being attached to it. You don't freak out when things are going wrong economically. Look, I went through 10 years. It was like the book of Job. And the only way I survived it was I had a connection with spirit. It got me through it. Where I began to see what was really important in my life, what would free me, and what was just going to take me to the grave. And I'm not putting down money, and success is wonderful. We should have the good things that life has to offer. You really should. At the same time, it's like my teacher Rudy said, it's to have, but not to have what you have you. You understand? Most people are so controlled by their possessions, by their money, by their, the power, the greed, that they're so controlled, they're slaves to it. It eats them alive. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. I've made a lot of money in my life, And the only thing that enabled me to do it and still stay sane was my spiritual practice. And that comes with connecting to the realm of energy that transcends time and space. That's beyond human comprehension. Hey, wait till you read my new book. It's all about this. It's really all about it. I'm very excited about this book. I really like having written it. It's finished, and I really have enjoyed writing it. But I hope it's clear what I'm saying. It's not to have money and possessions and, all the wonderful things that come with that. Nice house, a nice place to live, the art and music and whatever it is, eating in nice restaurants. It's fine. I learned that from Rudy, give him a great Chinese restaurant. And he was certainly heaven on earth, Rudy. It was extraordinary. We must have eaten at every Chinese restaurant in Chinatown. It was fun. At the same time, never forget standing next to him. One of his buildings that he owned on 10th Street was burning. Fire engines were there, firemen. And he looked at me with a little smile on his face. He said, I must really be growing. I don't feel an ounce of being upset about my building burning in front of me. I'll never forget it. Most people would be completely freaked out. Building, what am I going to do? Put it out, renovate it, fix it. It happened to me. I shouldn't tell you that. I think I once did. I remember once I got a phone call 5 minutes before a meditation class that I had just lost the value of about $1.5 million worth of art. It was literally stolen. And I had to teach a meditation class 5 minutes. I sat down. It was one of the most extraordinary classes I ever had. Just using the meditation to go above it and not getting freaked out, not getting tense, not getting crazy about it. And in a way, it was a great thing because it changed my life, that experience. And in the meditation class, I realized my life has to change. It changed my life. And down the road, it probably saved me a lot of aggravation. So you never know. It's how you use experiences. You know, there's nothing negative. It's how you use it.
Thank you, Stuart.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Hey, if there are no more questions, then there'll be class on Sunday. God bless you all. And also, as I announced, there'll be no class on I think, the 13th, the following Sunday, because of the retreat. So God bless you all and have a wonderful evening. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
You're welcome. Good night.